everyone, welcome. It's Coach Andrew here with 310 Nutrition. I'm going to give a second as you guys start joining on, but today, as you can see, I have a setup here for another recipe. Really excited today. This is the first baking recipe that I have for you guys. So as you can see here, there's some cookies, peanut butter cookies, peanut butter protein cookies actually. Pretty easy recipe to put together, but I'm just going to wait, just say hi, say hello as you guys joined. Hi, Jaya. And you know what, guys? I'm gonna put on my glasses because in order to see from back here, I think I'm gonna have to wear these. And usually I do a lot of my cooking without without any glasses, but I'm gonna just put these on so I can read these comments. Hi, Wendy. Hi. Hello. Thanks for joining. Hi, Jennifer. Hello. So as you can see, today we're going to be going over a really simple baked recipe using the pumpkin spice flavored protein powder here. Really nice recipe, really simple. As you can see here, here's the cookies. Pretty easy to put together. All appliances you'll need is an oven to bake. So I went ahead and did that. But before I get started, let me know if you guys have any. So I want to throw this out in the beginning before I get started. Give me other ideas for recipes or for other future comments or other things and ingredients you want me to dig into, because I'm just throwing these out there, and this is one that's already up on 310 Nutrition, and it's under pumpkin peanut butter protein cookies. So you can look it up there, and then of course we're going to have it down in the comments, so you guys can find it. And then I'll have a little easy to follow handout so you guys can follow along with the recipe. Hello from Florida. Hi. I can't really read the name. Rachel, I think. Yeah. Welcome, Rachel. So I'm just going to get started. I preheated the oven to put these cookies in while I'm prepping and mixing these ingredients together. So it's at 350 degrees. And Tina. All right. Yeah. Awesome. But yeah, give me ideas. If you guys have other recipes, I think I'm going to start making some more baked and warm kind of recipes, hot shakes or hot recipes, because it's getting colder. I'm not sure about you guys. I'm in California, but it's still chilly here. So 350 degrees, the oven is running. And let me just go over some of the ingredients that we'll be using today. So as you see, we have the pumpkin spice flavored protein, the all-in-one meal from 310. That's going to be the main flavor you're going to taste is peanut butter and pumpkin from that. And of course, you're going to have, it's going to be a high protein cookie because you're using the all-in-one protein powder. So that's always a great thing with your snacks, in order to make sure these could be like a dessert, of course, something you can have after a meal, but something higher in protein is going to be really helpful to make sure you're meeting your protein for the day and making sure you're satiated, you're full, and prevent cravings from other things, right? Because a cookie like this, in comparison to a normal cookie, is going to have like probably a fifth of the amount of sugar that a normal cookie would have. So definitely much lower in sugar. The other ingredients we're going to be using is a protein powder. So I don't have the 310 peanut butter protein powder, but I have another one similar to that called PB2 here. So I'll be using that for now. The other thing it's going to be using is the almond flour. So this is going to be wheatless. So this is going to be totally gluten-free, no wheat in this recipe. This is just going to be the almond flour for our main flour and the protein powder. And then for the sweetness, we're going to use this sugar-free maple syrup. I just picked this one up at Trader Joe's. Stater Brothers. I've seen some at Trader Joe's. So yeah, it's up to you, but I'm just going to be using this maple syrup here. Hi, good evening, Maria. Thanks for joining. So we're if you guys are just hopping on, we're going through the ingredients for these peanut butter protein cookies, so you guys can give it a try too. It's going to be a perfect treat for these holidays. The other ingredients are going to be peanut butter, just basic creamy peanut butter. And the type of peanut butter does matter. Actually, making this recipe, I figured out that the all natural peanut butter, the ones that have more oil, they're more like oil that sit up to the top, the more natural ones, are a better choice than these no stir already like like homogenized, like peanut butters that are already like pre-mixed that are like you don't need to stir up together. They actually are better for these cookies. So go for the more creamy and the ones with the oil that sits up to the top that you have to stir. That's gonna be a better choice. The other one's gonna ingredient you're gonna have is cinnamon here. A great ingredient. Anytime I have an excuse to use cinnamon, I'll be using it for shakes, for pancakes, for a bunch of things, you know. So cinnamon, great choice. I'll be going over a little bit more on the ingredients at the end of the video if we have some time on more benefits of cinnamon and if you guys have any other questions. And the last one here is just some vanilla extract. You guys can see that here. So that's just going to give a more vanilla flavor. So that's about it. Those are all the ingredients for this recipe. You also need 2 bowls. I have a bowl here for the dry and wet ingredients. So that's what I'm going to have. Measuring cups, of course. You're going to make sure you have those. This recipe, can I use almond butter? Yes, yeah, you can definitely use almond butter, Wendy. I would say you might get a thicker like dough, like a thicker consistency when you're making it. So I added a tiny bit of water on my this batch that I made here. So just once you mix all the ingredients, look how dry if your batter is a little dry, then you want to add a little bit more water to mix it. So it really, for me, I've seen it all depends on the peanut butter. But let's just kind of get started, and I'll answer some more questions as we get along. So measuring cups and the bowl. So first I'm just going to start off with the pumpkin spice protein powder. And this one has the scoop, but the recipe calls for half a cup of this. So what I do is I just pour it straight up into the cup, right? So we'll be doing that here. Just to show you guys, I thought it was about 2 scoops, but I'll just give you guys show you guys here. That was 1 scoop. I want to say it's like 1.5. So you'll be doing about 1.5 scoops. That would give you about half a cup. There we go. So we got half a cup. Ringing the bell. All right, half a cup of this. Next, we have our almond flour. So almond flour is being used at this recipe. Some substitutes you can use are just normal flour if you're okay with that. But this recipe comes out really nice with almond flour. So I didn't notice a big difference. I've made it twice with almond flour and normal wheat. They do come out a little crunchier and a little softer with the almond flour. So that's the big difference I noticed. So for this one, it's a fourth a cup, not half. So a little bit less. A fourth a cup of the almond flour. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour this on the side. And as I'm doing this, I'm just gonna give it a little toss. So that would be my dry ingredients. So far I have the almond flour and the protein powder. Oh, sorry, the pumpkin spice protein. And next we have the PB2 or the 3T. You can use the 310 protein powder. Peanut butter powder. So it's basically peanut butter in a form. And I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this around. But there's other brands similar to the one that 310 has. But it's basically just peanut butter that has been extracted from a lot of the oils. So you'll see that the fat content on some of these are going to be pretty low. This one's 1.5 grams and 6 grams of protein. So they're trying to keep the protein in there without sacrificing too much of the protein and the calories. So it's going to be a lower calorie substitute for peanut butter. And this recipe, I use both. But if you're trying to look for a much lower calorie cookie, you can definitely go more on this, the peanut butter protein, peanut butter powder, and less on the all natural, like normal peanut butter. But for this one, I'm going to do it just like the recipe calls for, a fourth cup of this. So let me just make sure I'm grabbing the right one. So we're going to be using a fourth cup of this one here. And this is a really peanut butter forward recipe. So if you're not a big fan of peanut butter, I would probably suggest you try a different recipe. This one's definitely for peanut butter lovers. This is a straight up peanut butter cookie recipe. All right, so we got that one out of the way. Side. All right. Okay, so there we have the second to last. Okay, last dry ingredient is going to be the cinnamon. So this one's just going to be a teaspoon of cinnamon. You could go a little bit more. Actually, with 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, you don't taste much cinnamon in the cookies. That's what I noticed. So you could probably get away with like 1.5 teaspoons. I'm just going to go exactly how the recipe calls for. And I'm mixing my teaspoon measurement. Here it is. 1 teaspoon. And who of you like cinnamon? Let me know in the comments. What do you use cinnamon for? What's your favorite recipe to add cinnamon? Is it a shake? Is it pancakes? What do you guys like adding cinnamon to? Personally, I gotta say oatmeal. Oatmeal is one of my favorites to add to add cinnamon to. It just adds so much, I don't know, so much flavor without a lot of sugar or any other additives. It's just a great ground spice ingredient that you can use. Cinnamon, cooked apple. Oh, cooked apples is another great one. Thanks for sharing, Rachel. Yeah, cooked apples. There's actually another really cool recipe I've tried out with just baked apples in the microwave. If you want to do something quick, and you throw a little bit of cinnamon on there, great little snack. Maybe I'll show you guys a little later. Could you use regular flour in this recipe instead? What would it do as far as cookies? Joanne, yes, you could definitely use the regular flour. I actually made a batch with the regular flour, and they did come out a little crunchier. That's the only thing I've noticed. The almond flour is a bit more, I don't want to say wet, but it has more fat because it's almonds, right? Almonds have good monounsaturated fats in there. So what you'll notice is this almond flour is a little more wet. So your cookies are going to come out a little softer, like a softer baked cookie. And versus when you're using like just wheat flour, you'll get a more crunchy cookie because there's no fat in the flour. So that's the big difference, Joanne, if you choose wheat flour instead. Okay, so far I've added all the dry ingredients in one bowl. Next, I'm gonna grab another bowl and I'm gonna add the wet ingredients. So here I'm gonna add these 3 guys here. So the maple syrup, peanut butter, and vanilla extract. So let me just make sure I'm adding the right amount. I think I messed up on this one last time. We'll be doing a 1/3 cup of the maple syrup. So let me add this 1/3 cup. Third cup of the maple syrup. And this one that I chose here is a sugar-free maple syrup. I just just in order to make these cookies a lot less calories and less added sugars. This one's sweetened with sorbitol. Yeah, so some like artificial sweeteners. But if you're okay with a little bit extra sugar, maybe you could just use normal maple syrup. That's perfectly okay too. But for this recipe, we're trying to make them low sugar, lower calories. So we're gonna go with the sugar-free. Next, we're gonna add just a normal. This is the classic like creamy peanut butter. But like I mentioned, go for the one with the oil that sits up to the top. You're gonna find that it mixes a little better, from what I've noticed. So for the peanut butter, you're gonna be doing 1/2 cup. Let me get this aside. I'm gonna be using 1/2 cup. And I think this one was 4. All right, here we are, 1/2 cup. So it's quite a good amount of peanut butter, as you guys will notice. So I'm just gonna grab a spoon. So the best way I've found this to do this without making a mess is grab a spoon and your measuring cup and just like scoop it in and just glide it in like that and just press it down. Because peanut butter, oh man, it can get messy. You could definitely be making quite a mess with the peanut butter here. And it gets all sticky and hard to clean. You can make a mess all over your table. But anyways, I found it easier just to do this, grab a spoon, kind of just level it off. like so, and then just scoop it back in the bowl. So I'm gonna throw in the half a cup of peanut butter in here. And again, a substitute could be almond butter. So if you're using almond butter, another great substitute to add in there. So you'll basically have some almond butter cookies instead, right? Instead of peanut butter. Okay, so the last ingredient is going to be the vanilla extract. So this does add a good amount of flavor with just 1 teaspoon. I want to say that I haven't tried it without the vanilla extract, but you don't need much. This is an extract. You don't need much of the vanilla to really get a taste of it. So just 1 teaspoon will do. 1 little teaspoon of vanilla extract. Throw it in there. And so, okay. So at this point, you're gonna have your dry and your wet ingredients. I'm just gonna give the wet ingredients a mix because the peanut butter kind of sits at the bottom. And it smells really strong, really vanilla. The vanilla extract is, like I'm telling you, the vanilla extract is really strong. Do you guys keep, what are your favorite things to add vanilla extract to? I mean, besides baked goods, like baked cookies, baked, yeah, besides maybe some pancakes once in a while, I'll throw in a little bit vanilla, the vanilla extract, but what else? Give me some ideas. What else could I use vanilla extract for? You give some ideas to the people here. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw the wet into the dry ingredients here, just to mix everything together. That's so. I'm gonna give it a toss. Not a toss, just kind of fold in the ingredients. And at first, you'll notice that it looks like it's too dry. Like you're gonna have to add some more wet ingredients or water or something. But don't do that yet. Just try to really mix it in, because the peanut butter is really, really thick and it's hard to really incorporate it with it. So when I'm doing this, I'm kind of pressing the spoon up against the side of the bowl and just kind of slowly mixing in the dry ingredients. So that was the mistake I made on the first batch. I added too much too much water because I thought this was going to be too dry, and they came out very watery, and I couldn't even form them into the little balls in order to place them on the sheet. So you really want to make sure that you're giving it as much of a fold as possible, like pressing down. I just use a spoon. That's what I'm using here, and going up against the side of the bowl. So I'm going to show you guys how it looks at the end here, but just kind of doing this. All right. And I'm a big fan of peanut butter. So anytime there's peanut butter recipes, peanut butter jelly sandwiches, I mean, anything that in that realm, I'm a big fan. I love those. All right, so let me just kind of finish this off. We're almost done here. It's time to stick together. So when you're mixing it enough, it should start to kind of stick together. You should start getting like a thicker like dough consistency. Okay, so at the end, I eventually I'm going to use my hands once it's thick enough. Okay, so let me just show you guys. It's just a little bit easier to press it down and just kind of mush it together. And you should have kind of like a cookie dough consistency. Just like this. I'll give you guys a look. You can have something like this. It's dry enough where I can grab a piece and roll into a ball, and my hands aren't like wet or left with peanut butter. So it took some time just to fold it in, press it. But yeah, you should, that amount of the rest of the ingredients should give you this nice little cookie dough mass, little ball right here. At this point, what you can think we cut off for a little bit. Yeah, okay. But at this point, you can add some extras in there, right? Like some cacao nibs, something that I add from time to time in baked recipes is the little cacao nibs. I found these at Grocery Outlet. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that store. Let me know in the comments if you are. But you can find a lot of this brand, Nativas. And they have a bunch of little different ingredients, but you can add some sugar-free chocolate chips. You can add this little cacao nibs, whatever you like. You know, you just try to make it in there. Shredded coconut, nice call, Rachel. Yeah, chopped walnuts, exactly. Yeah, you guys get it. So anything that you guys want to kind of make to enhance these cookies. If you like the more basic peanut butter cookie flavor, then you know this is perfect. You just leave it just as is. So, okay, now what we're gonna do, let me make sure this camera is facing me. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So now I'm gonna use the spoon to scoop out about 1 tablespoon little balls. So what I'm gonna do here is just give it a nice little scoop like this, put it in my hand, and just give it a roll. Terrific. I'm making these tomorrow. Nice. Yeah. It's super simple. You know, you just have 2 bowls, you mix it together. You know, it's one of those easy baking recipes. So on the side here, I just had a little baking sheet pan with some parchment paper. Again, I want to remind you guys to use parchment paper. I've tried using wax paper and it just burns up the oven. So parchment paper for this. Put it down. I sprayed a little bit of like the olive oil spray at the bottom, and it helps stick the parchment to the bottom. So that's why you see it stick. And this is full of a lot of oils from the peanut butter. So you don't have to spray anything down on the pan. You just put the parchment paper down as is, put it aside, roll up your little balls, form like little 1 inch. They look about 1 or 2 inches apart, a little smaller than a golf ball, I want to say. And you just start putting them to the side here. So you're just gonna work your way through it. You should make about 8 is what I made here. 8? No, sorry, it was way more than 8. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the side here, I had 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this total recipe will make you about 12 cookies. Can you please post the recipe? Yeah, definitely, Tina. We'll post the recipe and make it pretty accessible. And it's up on the 310 website. So if you guys want to check that out too. Yeah, thank you. You'll make these. Yes, yeah, definitely post it up, and I will make a little handout, like a 1-pager on this recipe, so you guys can kind of print something out, have it ready to go, put it up on your fridge, so you can follow along with me and do this recipe. So I'm just gonna put 3 little balls, cookie dough balls down. I'm gonna get a fork and show you guys what I do. I just put that down the cookies, and then I just press them down with my fork. And if you don't want them to break ugly like that, you just press it down with your hand a little bit. That's what I did here. I just pressed it down so they're nice and uniform. And you can go ahead right on top and just lightly use a fork and press them down. And that's how you get that beautiful little cookie shape on top. No fancy equipment, just basic fork. And there you go. There you have it, guys. So that's how they'll look. You will throw them in the oven. These cookies here, I put it in for 10 minutes, and you feel them and they're still soft. So don't be fooled by how they feel when you take them out after 10 minutes. They look soft, but once you let them cool off, they do get dry and they firm up. These with the flour aren't super firm. So if I break it apart, it's kind of like a softer cookie. You could put it in for another like 5 minutes to get them a little harder and stiffer, but try not to burn, because if you go more than 15 minutes, they will burn. So you take them out and they dry and they get harder. That's what happens here. If you put them in the stick to the baking, no, they won't stick. So like I mentioned, there's just a lot of natural oils in the peanut butter, the almond flour. Yeah, basically the peanut butter and the almond flour. So you're not going to need to put anything down. I've already made 2 batches of these, and nothing stuck, like, at all. This is one that I used before, and nothing stuck. So don't worry about spraying anything down at the bottom. You'll be fine. You just cook them, bake them. Sorry, just as is. Put them in. You know, just line them up, press them down, and put them in, and they should be fine. And here is the final one. the final recipe, final product, as you guys can see. So I've already eaten about 2 of these, so I've had my share for today, to give it a try to get ready for you guys. Let me wash my hands real quick. So yeah, that's about it. That's basically the entire recipe from scratch, basically, right? You know, we put this together. A lot of great ingredients here, from the higher protein to make these cookies high protein to the cinnamon. You're welcome, Rachel. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. And again, if you guys have any other kind of ideas or any other recipes you want me to work out with you, give you alternatives, give you other ideas to make some, maybe a hot shake or a hot drink, or there's some kind of recipe that you like that you want me to recreate, let me know, and then we'll try to make it here. Awesome. Yeah, you're welcome, Wendy. So give these a try. These were actually really good, really tasty. You know, you can't even taste the difference. Like, I eat these cookies and you can't even tell that they're like a low sugar, high protein option. Like, they taste just as good as any other peanut butter protein cookie, in my opinion. So I'll have another bite because it was tempting. So, but it's time for, pretty soon, I'm going to get my dinner going. So I'll save one of these for after dinner as a treat. Great option. You can pack them up, put them in the fridge. They should be good out of the fridge too, because you're not using really any eggs, any other milk or dairy products. So Tupperware, put them in your pantry or your fridge, and you should be good to go. But thank you guys for watching. That's basically all I have for today. If you're watching on replay, let me know in the comments if you have any other ideas for further recipes. If you have any other ideas or anything else you want me to talk about, I'm going to try to go back and answer as much questions as I can, relating to this recipe, relating to anything else that you might have in mind for any future videos or ideas. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys all next time. And yeah, and have a great weekend. I will see you guys next Wednesday here. I'll catch me live at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be doing the videos here. So, all right, guys, thank you.